morning and welcome to the Today Show. With us today we have nutrition student Tessa Hockley here to give us some tips on some healthy baking substitutions.
Yes, thank you. Many people are worried about eating baked goods because they are concerned with the calorie, the fat, or even the sugar content. I find it important, however, to note that baking doesn't always have to be the bad guy in a healthy diet. In fact, if you use certain substitutions here and there, you can actually add nutrients to your baking. So you want to focus on three main things. You want to power up your flour by using whole wheat flour. You want to crack down on those eggs by either using less or by using egg substitutions. And lastly, you want to use fruit and vegetable purees in replacement of some of the fats.
Wow, those are some great tips. Okay, so what do we have over here?
Well, here we're going to focus on the main component of baked goods, and that's the flour. So most recipes call for all-purpose flour, and this is a white processed flour that doesn't add a lot of nutrients to your dish. So my recommendation is using whole wheat flour. And by replacing 1 cup of white with whole wheat, you can actually add 10 grams of heart-healthy fiber to your dish.
Wow, okay, so you can just replace all your white flour with whole wheat flour?
Well, it really depends on what the product you're baking and what the end result you're looking for, because whole wheat flour itself tends to make the product more dense and unsmooth. So my recommendation here would be to mix these two. And I would start with a 50-50 mix and then gradually increase your whole wheat.
Oh, okay, great. So we learned how we can change up the flour to make it healthier. What about over here?
Well, here we're going to focus on the eggs, and you can either use less eggs or get rid of them entirely.
Oh, okay. And how do we go about doing that?
Well, if you want to use less, you can use 2 egg whites or a 1/4 cup of egg substitute. And this will get rid of 60 to 70 calories or 6 grams of fat. You can also do egg substitutions. So one example is a mixture of 1 teaspoon baking powder, a tablespoon of vinegar, and a tablespoon of water. But my favorite substitution for eggs is using a tablespoon of ground flaxseed and 3 tablespoons of water. This will add a lot more nutrients to your dish.
Okay, so what other nutrients does it add?
Well, ground flaxseed is actually very rich in fiber and omega-3 fatty acids.
Wow, okay, so we learned about flour and egg substitutions. What about over here? What's with all the fruit?
Well, here we're going to focus on how you can use fruit and vegetable purees in replacement of some of your fats. And fats being oil, shortening, or even butter. So here you want to focus on a 1-to-1 ratio with any of these replacements. So we're going to start with applesauce. Applesauce is used in a lot of light products, such as cakes or muffins, and this adds 3 grams of fiber. You can also use pumpkin puree or even yam puree, and this adds vitamin A and vitamin C to your dish. It's used in products such as spice cakes, spice breads, and even some chocolate products.
Wow, pumpkin puree. I'm going to have to try that one. What about bananas?
Well, bananas are a great substitution as well. If they're ripe, you can mash them up, and like I said before, it's a 1-to-1 ratio. And so you're going to use, that's a great addition, and so you can use them to add potassium to your dish. But you want to be a little careful with bananas only because they tend to make the dish a little fruity tasting.
Wow, those are some really creative tips. I've learned a lot.
Yes, thank you. I think it's very important to note that you can bake with healthy ingredients. So you want to focus on 3 things, I'll reiterate. You could power up your flour with whole wheat flour. You can crack down those eggs by using less eggs or egg substitutes. And you can also use fruit and vegetable purees in replacement of some of your fats.
Wow, great. Thank you, Tessa. It's always a pleasure having you.
It's always great being here. Thank you.
Thanks.